Good morning, Chanukah. Today is Wednesday. We're learning the third day of Chanukah, with Hashem. May the light continue to get stronger and stronger for all of our Chaverim and all God's Klal Yisrael. We should witness the Gula Shlema Behavior. Amen. Today's shiur is sponsored Lila Nishmas Aaron Nachman ben Simcha Cohen, Yeshua Mordechai ben Shepsel Bracha Star B'Shmuel Leib, Moshe ben Yosef ben Hashem will have an Aliyah, and for Shlema for Ada Sar Bas Leah Chana Pesel Bas Yenta, Yisrael ben Rachel Leah Rachel Bas Pesel Zelda, Avram Yitzchak ben Risha, and Chaya Bas Noba Bela. This Fus the Nefesh and Fus the Guf, so Shar Chal Yisrael, Shar Fu Bekarov. Today's shiur is also sponsored as a schus for Everest Equity as a corporate sponsorship. They sponsored this week and next week. So we have a schus for them. If you need help with the mortgages, you want to save some geld, you give them a call and they'll give you a good deal and put some geld back into your pocket. Shefer Bacha Batzlacha to them and for all their endeavors. Okay, 3 Mishnayos today. Short Perek, Chawad Chanukah. The first 2 Mishnayos we're going to talk about is tying and untying knots, kosher. Perek Tezvav Mishnah Aleph. Elu kisharim shechiyavim alehem. These are the knots for which one is chayiv on Shabbos. Kesher hagamalin, a camel driver's knot. That knot is tied is a permanent knot to pierce to the pierced nose of the camel. You put the thing in and it's a permanent knot. And that's a problem doing showers. Kesher asmanim, and the sailor's knot. The knot that's used to permanently tie a rope to a hole in the front of the boat. Since the knots that are also in Shabbos are the ones that are permanent knots, because they were used in the Mishkan, and therefore, if you tie a permanent knot on Shabbos, you're chayiv. And just as one is chayiv for tying them, because that's how they were tied in the Mishkan, tying permanent knots, he's also chayiv for untying them, because that's also was done in the Mishkan. They would untie the knots. You're going to ask, well, if it's a permanent knot, why are you untying it? There's no more permanent. That's a good question. But okay, so regarding, let's say, fishing nets, they were used to trap the chilazon. So and the chilazon was used to make the techeles that were used in the curtains and coverings of the Mishkan. So those fishing nets were tied with permanent knots, but sometimes it was necessary to untie those ropes and those nets in order to make them into a smaller net or to a larger net. That was so even though it's a permanent knot that was untied, it still had a permanent use to it. Rabbi Meir says, "Kol kesher shu yachol lateu ba'achas b'yadov." To any knot that one can untie with just one of his hands, ein chayav alav. One is not chayav for tying, since it can be done so easily. It is regarded as a temporary knot. One is not chayav. So, for example, tying shoelaces. Right, you can tie your shoelaces, Mustama, on Shabbos morning because all it takes is not even a hand, but they take 2 fingers and you untie the laces, and that's not a permanent knot. But if you're doing sometimes you have these big fat knots that are gonna take really aggressive, real strength to untie them, and that would be a problem. Mishnah Bays. So Mishnah Aleph discussed the Deraisa knots. Now we're going to talk about the Derabbanan knots. Yesh lecha kisharim she'en l'chayim alev kekosha agbalim ukekosha esfarim. There are knots which one is not chayiv, like the camel driver's knot and the sailor's knot, they're not those, meaning that it's it's not us the eraser to tie a temporary knot. Tie and, the eraser does not ask you for tying a knot that will be left tied for a week or two. Even though such knots, however, are usher durabanan, because they resemble permanent knots in that they remain in place for a long time, even if they're not fully permanent. So the following are knots that are allowed to be tied on Shabbos because they don't even resemble permanent knots at all. Kosheres isha miftach chaluka. A woman can tie the opening of her blouse. She has like a tie over here. V'chute savivas v'shel piskaya, and the laces of a bonnet or a girdle. Ritzios min avasado. A woman may tie the straps of a shoelace. First, yeah, those we discussed before. The nodos yayin v'shemen, and the openings of flasks of wine or oil. The kadera shabasar, and a cloth that covers a pot of you. Let's say you tied a rope around your cholent pot, for whatever reason you did that for. All these knots are mutter because they do not even resemble a permanent knot in any way, shape, or form. Eliezer ben Yaakov says, "Kosher l'fnei behema b'shvil shalateitza." You can tie a rope in front of an animal to keep it from getting out. Is this type of knot is untied on the same day that it's tied? Eventually, eventually you have to let the animal out. Koshrin delig pipiskaya. One may tie a bucket to the top of a well with the lace of a girdle. Since one needs the lace for its regular purpose, one will not leave it permanently tied to the bucket at well. Rather, one will untie it the same day after he has finished using it to draw the water. But when we not tie the bucket with a rope, because a rope will be left there permanently. If Yehuda matir, if Yehuda permits tying the bucket even with a rope. Klal Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda stated the following rule about knots: Kol kesher she'enu shakiyama, enu chayiv. Any knot that is not permanent, any knot with a K, K-N-O-T, that is not permanent with N-O-T, one is not liable for tying it. Okay, and Mishnah Gimel. Now we're going to talk about their abundance. Makpilin es hakilim afilu arba v'chamisha pamim. One may fold clothes even 4 or 5 times on Shabbos, they will not become wrinkled and will be fit to be worn again that Shabbos. So you can take off a garment and you can fold it. If you're not satisfied with how it's folded, like your stickle OCD, then you can fold it again and again and again until he gets it right, he or she gets it right, provided that you intend to wear that garment again that very same Shabbos. You can't just fold laundry for the heck of it, but if you took it off, let's say you wore a garment to shul in the morning for Shabbos, and you come home after Shabbos, you want to take off your special garment and fold it and put it away until mincha time, so you can fold it and put it away, and as long as you're going to wear it again later in the day, and that'll be fine. And when they make beds after sleeping in them on Friday night to prepare them to be slept in again on Shabbos. So, like, you woke up Shabbos morning, you made your bed, because you know you're going to be taking a nap later in the afternoon. This is a makor for taking a nap on Shabbos. But avalo Shabbos and mostly Shabbos. But you may not fold clothes or make beds on Shabbos for use after Shabbos. That you wake up from your nap in the afternoon, you cannot make your bed anymore that day because now you're preparing it for after Shabbos. Rabbi Yishmael says, "Like feeling as a kelim of tzion as a mitos miyom Kippur on the Shabbos. One may fold clothes and make beds on Yom Kippur that falls on a Friday for use on Shabbos because Yom Kippur is a weekday in relation in relation to Shabbos, and therefore may make preparations on Yom Kippur for Shabbos. So, let's just talk now. Nowadays, this doesn't apply because the calendar is set up that Yom Kippur will never fall out on Friday or Sunday, according to the current calendar system that we use. But in the times of the Beis made this, when they were in Mekadesh Alpiria, and Yom Kippur could fall out any day of the week, and therefore it was possible to have Yom Kippur on Friday or Sunday, which would make a 2-day Shabbos, which is very difficult. The lav for the someone who is Machal Shabbos is Chayav Misa. Chavis is based in, but someone who's Machal Yom Kippur is Chayiv Karis, which is a less severe punishment. Therefore, the Kedusha of Shabbos is more than the Kedusha of Yom Kippur, and therefore, according to this Manda Amar, they would be able to do those things on Friday for Yom Kippur, on Friday Yom Kippur for Shabbos the next day, because Yom Kippur is a lesser Kedusha. But so Yishmael continues. He says, "The Chalvei Shabbos craven Yom Kippurim." So if Yom Kippur falls on Sunday, then all the fats of the Shabbos karbanos may be makriv on the mizbeach after Shabbos, even though it's the night of Yom Kippur, because Shabbos has a greater kedusha than Yom Kippur, according to Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Akiva says, "Lo shel Shabbos kriv Yom Kippurim." If Yom Kippur falls on Sunday, then the fats of the Shabbos karbanos cannot be offered on Moshe Shabbos, meaning the night of Yom Kippur. The Lo shel Yom Kippurim kriv b'Shabbos. And if Yom Kippur falls on Friday, then the fats of Yom Kippur cannot be offered on Friday night, which is Shabbos, because the Torah regards them both as though they have equal kedusha. So he accepts that Shabbos carries greater kedusha than Yom Kippur, but he brings down a pasuk in the Torah that the karbanos of Shabbos cannot be burned on Yom Kippur, which implies that Shabbos will not be treated any more kadosh than Yom Kippur is. And that's it. And that's all for today. Short Perek. We'll continue tomorrow with Perek Tes Zion. Have a wonderful day and a fair Chanukah.